Well, fellas, the Green Bay Packers are a podcaster's best friend on a Thursday night. We're going to get to bed early. They are icing this thing up 9. Unfortunately, I hit the alt line like minus 10.5. Fuck me, right? But, also Packers -3 and other things. I know some of y'all are less BetMGM inclined, so we'll get on with the breakdown. Bo, what'd you think, bro?
Couple things early. Typically, in my playing days, not a big white unis guy because, look at the skin tone, man. It's a little pinkish. I got pink undertones. The whites just don't look good on 340-pound white nose guards, but these are crispy. I'm
Oh,
a huge
dog.
fan of these. Yeah, these are like early contender for, drip king of the week kind of thing. Early contender for Bevel Conway. I'm kind of loving the vibe at Lambeau right now.
I want you to read. Maybe we can block out the other shit. But can you read that?
Yeah, only team that doesn't look better all in all white.
Yeah. Like, isn't that wild how subjective that is? Because I think I read something this week about it. And I don't want to go too long about the uniforms, but like if you notice Green Bay's mesh in their jerseys is different than like everybody else's, it's because they get them done like locally. So like locally owned team and shit like that. I don't want to butcher this, but I think it limits their swag, not going like full on Nike. Anyways,
I like it. I think it stays true to who they are as an organization. You know that seamstress definitely has the Packers plaque, ownership plaque in their shop.
No doubt.
oh, she's got pictures with everybody on the team. She's got a picture with like Donald Driver and like Mark Chimura,
John Kuhn.
John Kuhn for sure.
Campman.
Gilbert Brown. He's wearing like a leather jacket. He's wearing a leather jacket. It's like the 90s.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I got one other thing I want to point out. My buddy Griff texted me this during the game. I thought it was the funniest thing.
yeah.
He's a third string backup quarterback for 10 years, was only active for a handful of games. And the first thing he said to me when we talked was that he thought it was amazing. There's an inactive player absolutely chained out on the sideline. And
Yeah, I saw him.
directly behind LaFleur. He's like, first of all, elite camera awareness.
No
Secondly, in this NIL era of young players, it's just wild to me because when a young Bo, it's like, you don't want to be be if you're not active. But this guy's he's going the other way.
Right. It's going the other way.
So anyway, all comments unrelated to football thus far, but just some things that stood out to me.
I think first things first, bad injuries for the Commanders. And we were just getting ready to talk about how we think tonight kind of exposed a little bit of lack of depth, lack of high quality wide receivers. Noah Brown's, he's a good player, but, not a 2. Terry McLaurin, we talk about him and being an elite wide receiver, definitely a 1, but not one of those top 3 to 5 receivers in the game, probably.
Right.
So if you don't have the depth, like say the Packers have, Jayden Reed goes down in the first quarter on, by the way, a beautiful ball. And we hope it's not a clavicle, and you hope it's an AC, that type of thing. But they kind of don't miss a beat. They can get the ball to Golden, if he wasn't overthrowing Golden, who runs a 4.25 or whatever it is. He got the ball to Wicks, my boy Wicks, a bunch of times tonight, which is great. Drops seem to have like kind of settled with him. But the Commanders just don't have that dynamic number 2 guy.
Well, that was kind of what I was saying, Chris. Like, where's Debo? Everyone's talking about how excited, how dynamic he is, how multifaceted he is as a playmaker offensively. And it's like, where the fuck is it? I think there's been this narrative of how what's his nuts, Cliff Kingsbury starts slow a little bit offensively.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of getting a little bit of that so far in 2025. Again, it's a short week, only 2 games, but it just doesn't feel like the Commanders' offense is super in rhythm. I'd like to see a little bit more quarterback run. Like, dude, this young dude is a stud. He's so smooth. He's so good in the open field. Think about how many rushing yards he had last year. Like, you see him early miss that zone read, right? And Lucas Van he just tackled it for like a 3-yard loss. You know, things like that. Like, let's get these dudes going a little bit in the run game and help this guy out. I feel like he's throwing the ball like 40 times to like these no-name wide receivers that aren't making plays.
Well, the Packers do a good job of jumping people, right? Like we talked about that last week, and kind of figured they'd get out to a hot start in this game. It could have been worse early. Like it just ends up like where they define the game and they can run the football. They really do. They can just plunge it into the middle of defense for 5 yards at a time. And then somebody get me like Jordan Love's average depth of target, because he was, I mean, and the accuracy on some of the deep balls, the golden one, it's a fantasy problem for me, him overthrowing that ball there. But the shot to Heath on the sideline, like these guys are going to produce explosives all year long. And like for Jayden Daniels, a guy with a great arm, just not being able to have the weapons that say a Green Bay has. And like I think it's jarring for the Commanders when they play a team like this. It's like a little bit out ahead of them, and then they lose Eckler. And they're not like up front is where we should be. I thought we'd come out of this game talking about up front, which we haven't even gotten into yet, right? But what you come out of it talking about is like, man, the Commanders really are thinner than you think at wide receiver, and now at running back for sure. And they made the Brian Robinson trade not knowing this would happen, obviously.
Yeah. And to Bo's point about getting Debo involved, Debo's obviously a really nice piece, but the skill set, he's not like a true receiver, like he's not like a route you up type receiver. So as far as him being able to factor in the passing game, that role's a little bit more limited than you want in your, like the guy who is your number two. Really, it's Noah Brown because of the limitations of Debo's skill set in that phase of the game.
Yeah. To me, though, it's like they're not having a ton of success with their run game. The O-line seems a little shaky, especially the rookie, especially against this stud front seven group for the Packers. So, like, get him involved in the perimeter screen game, which is just runs. You know what I mean? But, like, those are somewhat easy completions to make for a young quarterback, especially early in the season, to kind of get him going and then to get a new big offensive piece that everyone's kind of juiced about, like, in rhythm. So I'd like to see that. I'm kind of curious why there hasn't been more. I feel like Debo dropped a screen in, like, the first quarter or something like that. But also, like, that's going to slow down Micah Parsons, who is fucking a wild man. Just got a huge hit on Daniels, and Rashawn Gary, who I think has had 2 sacks, maybe 1.5. I'm not sure. He had 1.5 last week, but he's definitely had 1. Slow those dudes down with screens and shit.
Well, watch Gary have 12, 13 sacks this year after the last couple of years. People saying, what happened to him? Well, he's not only not the only guy people are keying and paying attention to, but now, like, you watch Micah Parsons. He could have 30 sacks if he were given one-on-one. It's like watching when Aaron Donald, like, and I think Aaron's the best defensive player of all time, possibly. But if Aaron didn't get slide or Aaron didn't get double teams, he'd have 30 fucking sacks. And I know it's not the way it works, obviously, if you watch the game tonight, but Micah, he's got to fight through 2-3 blockers every play. And there was a point in the game, and after the first game with Detroit, I was like, okay, cool. They're moving him around like a chess piece. That's fun. I want to see him parked over the fucking right tackle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the edge rusher in me, but I'm sitting there and I'm saying I want to see him parked over Connerly. And it took like a quarter or two. I think it took 2 quarters. And they just put him out there, and he won so fucking fast.
You know what they call that, Chris? What? Tell the people at home when you have the O-line board up, during prep week.
The fish.
Yeah, you got.
But it's not even like I was looking for a fish this week. I know he's explosive, and I saw him. They were nut stunt, right, Bo?
Yeah.
Last week, and he comes over and just shucks Ratledge aside, and you talk about his loop is like 2 steps because he's so tight to the loop. Yeah. Some guys loop too wide and everything. So like, I totally get he's dynamic inside too, but like maybe a little too cute. Let me just see him outside.
Yeah.
Like it's good for prep that a bunch of O-lines are watching that and saying, like, we have to worry about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons could be in my zip code.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is coming to your zip code. Micah Parsons will be at the local fucking mall just flat backing
We'd
offensive
be at the
guards.
Texas Roadhouse. They were talking about how they're like, "What are you doing in Green Bay?" I got him a truck. He's like, "I've been eating at Texas Roadhouse. I really love it." It's like, well, that's kind of all there is in Green Bay to eat. But
He likes Texas Roadhouse?
yeah, oh yeah,
That's like putting, no offense to Texas Roadhouse, that's like putting low grade in a Ferrari, dude.
he doesn't need dude. Whatever he's doing, just keep doing it.
He needs to go to Don Shula's.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
You ever been there, Bo?
No, but I've heard tell of it.
It
I would
is
like to
fucking
go.
good.
Maybe me and Micah can go together sometime.
Yeah, take him to Don Shula's.
Yeah. Can I tell you some other things
Sure, tell me.
that I was looking at? So, like, this is the first Amazon broadcast I've watched, and I was getting so annoyed at the little, like, Madden-esque blitz indicator that they have for the Commies defense. It's like, we're watching Dan Quinn's defense, which is 4 down, cover 3. All right? He's not blitzing that much. And then they, like, do the little red circle thing on the players who are mugged up on the line of scrimmage, acting like they're blitzing, and, like, they're never
Super distracting, dude.
killing me.
It's super distracting.
I hate it. And then I'm getting targeted ads in my face. Like,
But in the rare instance where the mic does blitz the A gap, I'm like, oh, that helped.
oh yeah, we all saw that
I
coming.
saw that happening the whole time.
got him.
Yeah.
I think Tucker Kraft is going to be a household name by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me when I throw around household name, like what that is anymore, because everybody watches football. Like I almost tweeted that he's underrated, but I was worried I'd get killed. And also, I don't even like Twitter. But like, I'm like, yeah, the reason I left Twitter is because like you tweet like, "Hey, Tucker Kraft's underrated," and be like, "According to who?"
Yeah.
Like
He's
I
a
don't know.
team captain, Chris. What are you
That's the
talking
fucking
about?
exercise, man. But you know what I'm saying about Tucker? Like, I don't think enough people realize how complete of a player he is and how elite he is as a pass catcher and a run after the catch guy. And we saw it tonight on display. Love the play call being backed up, popping a little screen overhead, and then they went to him again down the seam. Another thing is my guy, Big Romeo Dobbs, is fully formed. And he's going to get a lot of touches if Reed's out. So is Wicks. So, I got some personal rooting interest on the fucking Dobbs release in the red zone there. They go like triple wing to the left, and it's like the backside corner almost falls asleep, and Dobbs is not, obviously, because he wants that tutty. So I love that. I love seeing the Packers not come out this week and kind of disappoint, come back down to earth. They played a little sloppy, but that Commanders team's supposed to be – they were in the NFC Championship last year.
Right.
And the Packers didn't play perfect, and the Packers look like another weight class.
Yeah. Well, to your point, you were just listing off a lot of their, offensive weapons, but they just seem so solid and so complete offensively. Like the quarterback seems so much more comfortable, and I'm kind of wondering why exactly that is, but it just feels like, what is his third year starting in this scheme. He really feels like he has command of it. He's like he's dishing the ball to all these different players that you mentioned. They're getting their tight ends involved really well. The run game is good. They just seem the O-line. I need to familiarize myself with this O-line a little bit because I'm impressed by the Packers offensive line.
Well, they're down Zach Tom, so they should be even better, fully formed. And the other thing we're talking about with Jordan Love is, and I don't want to see any tweets complaining about Jordan Love because Patrick Mahomes did something. Jordan Love didn't break stride. Okay, Jordan Love on that third down looked at the sideline and he looked at that fucking corner who's not a small individual as corners go. And Jordan Love is a big man, dude. Walked up on him in the casino, not that he was in there gambling, but it was like the Vegas Super Bowl, and dapped him up, and he was fucking big, dude. And when he came downhill on that little corner, now you can pawn it off as, well, this Patrick Mahomes did that. You better firmly plant your fucking feet and use the sideline as your best friend. And if you're going to miss him, it's like the stiffest breeze in the world hit his left ear. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got to be out of bounds. That's just the way it is in the NFL now. You got to fucking – for a corner.
Quarterbacks are really pushing it early. You know what I mean? One of them's going to get smacked. Smack.
Well, that's what. So I want to ask you guys, as defensive guys, if you see that on tape, is there a little bit of chit chat
I'm pursuing inside
in the
out.
cafeteria where it's like, "Yo, I'm
Yes.
fucking coming for this dude"? If he
I mean,
pulls
Yes.
this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but
And then we're the ones yelling to the DBs like, "Don't get bitched by Jordan Love this week."
yeah, because we're not in space.
Yeah.
Tackle.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with it, but
Yeah.
but they'll take the tips and overthrows, so we can give them shit.
Yeah,
Right.
no, but I just think it's so funny because, like, I think historically there's always been such an emphasis on protecting the quarterbacks early in the season. Like, I was watching the Bucks Falcons game last week, and there was like 2 or 3 roughing the passer calls that I was like, come on, you know what I mean? And now the quarterbacks are like, they're kind of laying the wood, man. Like, I love it, but someone's gonna get got, and I'm waiting for it. Pause. Yeah.
Who do you like seeing lay the wood there, Bo?
I love seeing Love lay the wood.
All right, I'm done. No, but
Love
there,
hurts.
I don't want to forget a couple things here. My favorite part of the whole broadcast, you don't like the blitz thing or whatever it is. There were 2 of my favorite moments, Bo, in the broadcast. One I texted you about was the huge jacked Wisconsinite ripping the fuck out of what I think to be a vape pen.
Yeah.
Enormous cat. And it was so funny because like Herb Street and Al Michaels didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And they both knew
That looks like he's having a good time.
they both knew he hits the Benjamin.
Yeah.
You kidding me? You know Al Michaels hits the Benjamin. Because
100%.
he doesn't eat vegetables, bro. He doesn't care about his health. He's like, he knows what that is. And then my other favorite part of the game was, and then I thought this was very useful, out of the break graphic, and it was comparing Micah Parsons' shin angle to the great Derek Thomas.
I missed that. They were talking dorsiflexion on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Essentially, ever
Wow.
since we started talking about dorsiflexion and ankle flexion,
We got some kinesiology
like-
makers in the producing booth.
They had like still shots of him and used like protractors to show like 40-degree angle, like
Wow.
40-degree shin angle. It was awesome.
you say protractor like you're from down here.
Yeah. That was a poll.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Fucking Sin Coast.
Man, when they bring
figure that one out.
when they bring Parsons out in the field, I think I texted you this, Chris. It feels like when he's coming out there with fresh legs on third down, it's like prime Mariano Rivera coming out to close the game.
It's cool.
They should do, I don't know if they can give him like walkout music, but even just like a purge siren or something to play as he's coming out.
That'd
Just
be
get Lambeau
incredible.
rocking.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
He was pumping the crowd up and everything. It's funny, like,
Yeah.
I guess when you just get there, you probably like, I always felt weird if I got to a new team. Like the first time I'd be like, fucking get louder. Like they're like, what do I owe you? You fucking, you third wave free agent. Like, but if you're Micah Parsons,
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, like he's the show, dude.
He's buying into it too. I mean, it's probably nice for him to go to an actual football city, you know?
Yeah, no question. That's a nice shot at Dallas. I love it. Yeah, he was beating people like it was Roadhouse in there, bro. Micah Parsons, when he's lined up inside, it's like Roadhouse. I mean, there's just bodies. There's bodies flying.
Did you see that forklift elbow he hit on that one rush? I don't think he got the sack, but it was like automatic. You know what I mean?
Dude, and there's going to be people, and this glazing is just for the people at home who told us it's not going to be a big deal. You got to sit through it. There was because it's so unique. He unlocks the potential of his defense. There was a point where here's another graphic I love. Micah Parsons, 6 reps, 5 penalties drawn, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I was like, golly.
That's nuts.
Well, dude, the thing is, too, is like I remember I talked to Selleck on the phone last week, and he called me up. He said, "What do you think of this Micah Parsons trade?" And I was a little skeptical because I was like, I feel like the Packers are, what's the phrase, like selling the horse to buy the barn or whatever the fuck. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like they're
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
There, that's the one. That's what I'm looking for. you
Sell
knew
the
what
horse to buy the barn?
you knew what I was going for, Chris.
Is that a real fucking
Just let me land the plane here. It's going to take a second.
selling the horse?
Robbing Peter to pay Paul, meaning they're getting a guy, paying him a huge contract, the defensive
You know what?
guy.
You're right.
They're not going to be able to win in the future, right? But then when you look at the team that they have and the way they've been playing through 2 weeks, I'm fully bought in, dude. I got my cheese head on. I'm like, this makes a ton of sense. Like every year is in win now. Like look at I don't know, like look at the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. Like that's what they're doing. And it's so far 2 weeks in, it's paying off. Like, hey, this shit is working, man. And
You don't need a barn.
Lambeau had.
You don't need a barn at Lambeau.
But they got a horse, and Micah.
And he's an outside horse. I was kind of wondering what he looked like on grass. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it on the road, but like grass at home, it's a different look. He looks just as fast.
Yeah.
Looks
like I think Van Ness is playing well. Fucking what's his nuts? 95 Hyde. Obviously,
Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt. Yeah. I got a couple other comments, just pure football. Some things I want to
dump them.
The Packers on.
Their
shotgun run game is so good. Like they are one of the Packers probably have the best shotgun run game in the NFL. Like it's surprisingly deceptive. They did that that reverse handoff that you saw to one of the wide receivers, and like it's just little things like that drew Bobby Wagner up into the box, and ended up getting 3 or 4 extra yards out of it because of that. Like those are the small details of that offense that I appreciate. Because if you get a predictable gun run team when you're a backer, a D lineman, like it's so nice. So I have a lot of respect for that. And then they were doing such a good job on early downs. I think that's where the commies were struggling a little bit. Early downs, like they're just getting themselves into bad positions later. Second and long, third and long, where the Packers, like there was a point where they were like averaging 9 yards a play. You can't really fake that. So they look pretty damn good tonight, Chris. Not going to lie to you, buddy.